How's your experience been with Zen Browser? Would you recommend it to people who would be interested, even if it's currently in alpha? How does it feel to be featured on their website? I didn't know you're featured on their website.
I didn't know I was featured on their website until I read this question,
Are you?
but they linked to my Mastodon post about it. So
Oh, fun. Okay.
yeah.
Um, so what's the vibe there with the Zen Browser?
Yeah. So Zen Browser, I can't say that I would recommend it. Well, first of all, Zen Browser is it's very similar in theory to Arc Browser, if anyone has been following that. But it's open source and it's based on Firefox instead of Chromium, which is very exciting to me because I used Arc Browser for a bit and I really liked a lot of the things that Arc Browser did. It's a very good browser for power users because it does so much stuff that I need a browser to do, and it has vertical tabs and it has multiple browser profiles in the same window, which is probably my biggest use case because I like to have like a social media profile for keeping up with like Twitter, but have that completely separate. But I don't want to use the profile switcher in like Brave or something and switch between all these profiles all the time. It's really inconvenient. And so Zen Browser is working on a lot of these same things, but with Firefox, which is super cool. It is still in alpha, and that's the main reason I wouldn't recommend it. It also isn't like very complete in terms of the UI yet. It's way better than like what I've been seeing from Firefox in the Firefox nightly builds. I know Firefox is working on vertical tabs as well and other things. And Zen Browser has really done the UI in a much better way that I like as kind of for my power user browser preferences. I really like a lot of it, but they still have a lot more work to do before I could potentially switch to it. Some nice things that they could grab from like Arc, for example. A lot of like touchpad gestures don't work, and I work on my Mac laptop a lot, so that's kind of
Hmm.
the biggest thing where that I would need fixed to be able to use a browser efficiently. So kind of a deal breaker just on that alone. But yeah, it's exciting. And it really is like, a lot of people have asked me about it because they saw that Mastodon post that I posted about it, where I said that I like it and I like the idea of it. And I'm supporting them on Patreon because I want to support their development, which I think is important for open source projects. Even though I'm not actively using it as my daily browser right now, I think that the vision and the potential for it is exactly what I want a Firefox-based browser to be. I want to have a Firefox-based browser that isn't like fully funded by ads, and I like that they're going this Patreon route where they're getting a lot of like grassroots community donations to help fund the development of this. And I think it'll be a really compelling option to switch to, hopefully sooner or later, even though I'm not using it actively right now. I guess that's kind of the main thing with it. And I think that I'll just add one more thing, just like to tie it into privacy and security a bit. There's always like that concern with Firefox forks, for example, and there is always a danger of updates being delayed or that kind of thing. And that's something that I'm going to keep an eye on. But in comparison to a browser like Arc, for example, I like that Zen Browser is really just focusing on a single thing, which is like browser UI development. And they're not really doing a lot of other stuff as well because like the recent Arc security scandal was because Arc was also trying to do like a lot of different cloud-based stuff and AI stuff and like collaboration stuff in their browser. They're trying to see like how they can make this into a product that businesses want to use, for example. So that's those are the kind of features that are going to present security risks because you're making like these cloud connections and stuff to Arc servers. And even if they try to do it correctly, there's no guarantee that they will. And obviously in this case, they didn't until they fixed it. And Zen Browser isn't really working on like collaborative cloud stuff like that. So I'm less concerned about something like what happened to Arc happening to Zen, for example. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's cool. I've been pretty critical of Firefox lately, as people have probably seen. So having more browsers in the space is always a good thing, I think.
Yeah. I personally, I'm disinterested, just because I'm not someone who likes vertical tabs. I'd probably use just stock Firefox before I use Zen browser. But I know a lot of people love Arc, yourself included, or at least you did before they started doing weird stuff. I will say from what I've read, just a couple things to add on. You can't do like Netflix in Zen Browser. It doesn't support Widevine, I believe. So that's something to keep in mind. They don't have the license for it yet. And also, there is no mobile version, and they're committing to not doing a mobile version. Zen is a desktop-only browser, which syncs over Firefox Sync, which actually is a really cool middle ground, because then you can just use your favorite Firefox browser on mobile, and it'll still sync your bookmarks and everything to Zen on desktop. So
Yeah. Well, I think that's, I mean, a really good decision on their end because
I agree.
there's only like one way to make a mobile browser. It's not like they're going to be bringing anything new to the table
I agree.
with anything that they would do. So, yeah.
Yeah, I fully agree.
You just watched a clip from the Techlore Clips channel, which is taken from our main channel, Techlore, where we talk about digital rights, privacy, security, and so much more about tech to give you a better relationship with the technology you use. Check out the main channel over here, and also check out maybe another suggested video to learn more.